into draft phase in a moment.
Wow, just like that.
Yeah, there you go.
We are in the draft phase. Is the Varus and LeBlanc taken away? Varus' first 3 is kind of an interesting one, but Shun has played it a fair amount in the past. Kennen taken away from Res, did invent the Heartsteel tank Kennen in the previous split. LeBlanc Nico on the red side, second time we've seen this today. So it kind of seems the way at least the top team to thinking the draft should be played. Now, third ban, I mean, blue side definitely feels like they get more options with their bans. Kind of does feel like that LeBlanc and Nico should be perma-banned. And what's the last one they're going to look for? I mean, another target ban. Maybe ban away the Vi is something we've seen a lot. They take away the Iron instead, and I think Iron's an interesting one. I think he is really strong on the patch, but it requires a special type of jungler to play Iron. Not everyone can play it, and Gemini must be one of them.
Yeah, and it definitely has looked stronger since its change. And one thing that kind of surprised me with that, they've added a bit of damage to the Ivern, but they've taken away his sort of what he was known for and giving the double buff away after level 5. So that's just a given now in League after the recent patches. Kai'Sa will round out the draft though, taking that away from Eminem definitely seems to be a wise decision. One of his best champions, but now we'll look what the first pick's going to be. I think what we've seen pretty much every single game has been the first pick of the jungle. Vi being left open, which we haven't seen a whole lot of. We did see it yesterday once, Halpig's picking that up against CFO, to no real effect.
So with this Vi first pick, I would like to see Xayah picked up in the first 3 for CFO. I think picking Xayah makes Vi's job so difficult. If they actually pick it up in the first 3 or not, we'll have to see, but I really think it shuts down Vi a lot and removes what makes her such a absurdly strong pick on the patch, because you can just pick pretty much any mid laner that synergizes with Vi and then a engaged support, and it just makes the job for the enemy AD carry virtually impossible. We'll see though, maybe Sedge Renekton could be the lock in here. Don't really need to take the Sedge just yet, but probably would want to pick it up third alternatively. I think pick the Sedge Renekton, Xayah on 3, or the Xayah now, Sedge on 3 could be good as well if they're worried about it being taken away.
You definitely don't hate it. And it might force your start of draft to be different for Frank too, maybe looking to take away Rakan earlier than perhaps you'd want to, although the switch over to Jace now, definitely a Jimmy staple at this point, played it yesterday as well. But with that lock-in, you have to feel like it's more likely for Shun to head towards one of these AP building AD carries now.
Most likely will be, yeah. You kind of feel like with those first 2 solo laners locked in, it will be Sejuani on 3. That's going to mean that Xayah should be getting banned out in the second phase. Let's see what Frank picked though. Most likely want to pick follow-up engage, stuff that can chase with this Vi. They lock in the Ahri. Maybe you take a top lane pick here before they get banned out. K'Sante and Jax could be options. See what solo kill, he kind of tends to prefer the Jax, I think.
He also was probably the most impressive looking AP Gragas top as well.
That's true.
Which is a fine pick into the Renekton. In fact, I'd say it's a good pick into the Renekton, but again, he's also a Jax player, and Jax being one of the premier top lanes on the patch, not surprised to see this locked in at all.
Oh, well, they actually go for the Maokai over the Sejuani. I mean, it could be. I think Sedge works so well with the Renekton and Jace, but Maokai obviously a very good power pick in his own right, and maybe there's an argument that the Maokai is better up against the Ahri, so we'll see what they end up going for. I really don't think there is a wrong choice in the jungle right now between the Sedge and the Maokai, both just extremely competitive picks here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see this locked in. Offers a lot around objective play with both the Saplings and Nature's Grasp on the ultimate. And we'll be locked in here, so the top side of both teams now has been selected. There will be looking towards, I'd have to suspect... Ooh, it actually might be hard, because you could take away 80 carries that build AP away from CFO, and they're going to struggle in the rest of this draft.
I mean, they still do have the Maokai. It's not a full AP threat, but it does bring a fair amount of magic damage. I wonder though, okay, so they ban away the Realm, maybe just try and take away engaged supports. And then if you pick up something like a Thresh, maybe that can be a good way to counter the Vi. You have to feel like Xayah should be banned here from the side of Frank. It is just by far the best pick at dealing with the Vi. What else could they ban? I mean, they could ban some of these hook supports if they wanted, but I feel like there's enough of them available. Okay, the Xayah ban, pretty much a guarantee. I feel like CFO now, the next safest ADC is to go for Aphelios with Thresh. We'll see if they end up looking for that or not.
Definitely plays into Chelsea's strength as well, being the hook champion, so I guess wouldn't be too surprised to see that come out. I do worry, though, as this game extends about the magic damage. I know you said that Maokai offers quite a bit by himself, but is it going to be enough when this game sort of gets a little bit later and some items, armor items especially, can come through, and maybe you just get one sort of, you know, item that can get both, maybe even Jack Show on someone. Well, there's no one really to build Jack Show yet, but there's a lot of items that you can get that offer both magic resist as well as AD.
And we will see. So Philos is the second ban here. Now, Shun's options really limited. There is the Draven up. I'm not sure you'd want to play it versus Vi, but it's something that he's gone to time and time again. Really don't think this would be the game for it, though. I would like to see them pick an ADC and just last pick their support counter. Shall see, you know, very good with that counter pick at the champion pool he has. Jinx is the hover, and it's a tough game to be a Jinx, I think. If you get a reset, can play out the rest of the fight, but there's always the opportunity that you can just get flash ulted by the Vi. So now, what do Frank pick? I feel like should be engaged support, Nautilus, Leona, Rakan. Something that can follow up that Vi. Tristana is the hover. Would be a bit different. I mean, there aren't a lot of AD carry options left available.
You could even take away the Thresh, because it seems like that's the only real safety offered to the Jinx here. So if you do pick something and pick a Jinx alongside it, it's going to be really, really hard for Shun to play safely in fights.
Ooh, they go for the Ezreal. I wonder, are they going to go for a double range lane and just really try put on the pressure? I wouldn't like it that much. I mean, it is good against the Jinx, but at the same time, really feel like you need to accommodate what Vi and Ahri are looking for in the team fights. And Kaiwing, you know, much more of a melee support player. Question is which one? I mean, Nautilus. Yeah, Nautilus, Leona, Rakan. Those seem kind of like your normal ones, but would you want them with Ezreal? Instead, they go for the Braum. It is good disengage up against the Renekton, but I feel like it's a very strange 4-5. I think I would have much preferred something that can really kind of hard pressure with that Vi and the Ahri. And now the Thresh, like you said, it offers the safety that Jinx needs. Maybe don't need it though. You know, with that support going for the Braum instead, you can pick something greedier. And shall see, he picks the Tarn, which I think solves a lot of their issues. It's going to make it so difficult for Vi. And, you know, I have to say, I think Frank, they started off with an excellent 1-2-3. Really not sure about their 4-5 though.
Yeah, I'm leading the same way. I think Tarn there was a really good pick. Obviously, if Vi ever ults, well, whoever she ults, if she tries to ult the Jace, if she tries to ult the Jinx, can just gobble them up, give them a massive shield, and won't be able to find that knock up onto the AD carrier. We'll knock up Tarn still, so there is the possibility of just bursting him down, but with how Tarn works, he'll be really tanky, pretty hard to take down. I do like CFO's draft here. I think the only question mark is if this game does start to stall out, how much damage can they really do when they've only got really AD damage threats? I mean, the only AP damage really coming out is Maokai, and even then, has to come out of saplings, and he has to build Demonic, which makes him a little bit more susceptible for getting caught out and dying quickly in these fights. So I think CFO have to execute pretty well for this to pay off, and they do have to sort of close out the game earlier than perhaps you'd expect having the Jinx and Jace. But we do know CFO, they tend to like these 6-minute dragons and scale from there, so wouldn't be too surprised to see that work out all fine for them.
Yeah, we will see, and you know, shall see. He built an Everfrost on the Blitzcrank yesterday. Who knows what he's going to build on Tahm Kench? Could see a Dark Seal or something picked up. And I think that, you know, obviously while there isn't a lot of AP damage, there's also not a lot of huge armor builders on the side of Frank. You know, it's not like you're super worried about the likes of, you know, an Ahri or a Braum, you know, getting particularly tanky. So I think they'll be able to manage it. We'll see though. A lot of this game, I think, for both teams does rest on that early game. You know, just from the nature of the way they play as teams, but also whoever gets ahead in this game should have an easy time snowballing it further, as we will head on to the Rift for game number 2, Frank versus CFO.
Yeah, all right, I want to ask you, I asked you this yesterday in one of the games, but who do you reckon's getting first blood in this one?
Ooh, let me look at the lineups again. I think, I think Rest's Renekton might get it. What do you think?
Do you reckon that comes from a gank, or do you think
I think it comes from a gank.
Yeah, okay. Well, I was thinking Kenny Chan. I think Vi often finds herself first bloods. Press the attack, Vi, though. Probably not something I'm used to seeing.
Hey, he wants to get stuck in. A little bit of invade here on the top side. They do drop the ward. Gemini is aware of it, though. Wasn't able to clear it in time. And it looks like this will just be a regular Ezreal build, not going to be the First Strike Shiv AP like we saw yesterday.
Yeah, so Soul AP on this Ahri definitely should be fine. There's not a whole lot of tankiness that can really come out from CFO.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll go Leandry's or Luden's though, because there are some healthier targets at the same time. Having more damage with the Vi could be better off. Although Kenny Chan, he's going to be leached on this red, while meanwhile Gemini is solo starting the Raptors on the other side, which was warded out. And going to be opposite pathing.
Chelsea getting some early damage there. Looking Braum up.
It's not a sentence I've ever heard before.
What happened?
Now, CFO's bot lane, they did get to start in lane, so should be the ones getting priority over that lane. And that feels good as a Tahm Kench, right? Normally, Tahm's weakness is that laning phase, but up against the Braum, isn't going to have a big issue. You know, it's really the range supports that give it to Tahm. But he gets a fairly free lane here against one of the other melees.
Yeah, I think actually in this lane, if Eminem's not able to find a lot of poke, it should actually be CFO winning if there is any 2v2s, because Braum and Ezreal shouldn't really be able to take out Tahm and his 2 health bars, so have to be careful of that. Tahm also, it isn't the easiest way to find setup, but can definitely set up for a jungle gank as well, especially when you are setting up for the likes of a Maokai.
And Shun doing a great job building up that bot wave, getting a lot of pressure onto Eminem. There is no jungler around, so won't be able to force a dive just yet, but building himself up a nice advantage already. And again, you know, maybe makes you question that Ezreal Braum 4-5. Really don't think it was the best. We'll give them a chance to prove us wrong. And then mid lane, Pretender and Jimmy, 2 mids that have been very strong in the last split, especially towards the tail end of it. And we have a lot of good Jace players here in the PCS, in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think 2 of the best ones are facing each other right now.
They certainly are. I think Jace is one of those champs that in some of the other regions has been a bit lower prior. You know, got played at MSI by Knight, which kind of brought it back. But the PCS has been prioritizing Jace for a very long time in that mid lane.
Even some top lane Jaces have come out, but Kenny Chan looks like he might avoid any wards here, and Rest does have to be careful. Solo kill will not land that stun, so maybe a disengage coming through. Gemini, however, looking for Pretender here. Jimmy quite low on mana, so don't suspect anything can really be found.
And most likely will just look across. Can they defend the Raptors? I mean, Jimmy does have prior over mid, doesn't have a lot of mana though. And Kenny Chan, I think he can get these and get out. Although Gemini, he's going to do his best.
Oh, okay, he does get it, but Gemini now looking for a fight. He does manage to proc phase rush. Blocking that Q there is finding a bit of damage. Still chasing. Jimmy will land the shock blade. Oh, the flash a bit too late. It looks like First Blood might be coming in here. It is going to, and Jimmy picks up First Blood. Nice setup from Gemini, and just Kenny Chan overextending, being a bit greedy with that flash.
Yeah, I think, like you said, nice play from CFO, but feels like it was a big misplay from Kenny Chan. I really think there's a couple things he could have done better. You know, either you can flash early and Q after, you can flash the shock blast, you can flash earlier. I think even here, it might have been better to wait until after the phase rush was gone before channeling the Q. So it kind of feels like Kenny Chan just misexecuted on pretty much every level here, and unfortunately was punished very hard for it. It was very nice ward coming out of Gemini to make sure he had vision, and that's going to mean blue buff and First Blood going over to Jimmy on the Jace.
Yeah, wow. Not really what you expect out of Kenny Chan here early on. But CFO should be extremely happy with that, and now they're going to have to look for somewhere else to find some advantages, because it's going to be hard for Vida to make up for that, as Giant's Bout already picked up 4 Gemini on this Maokai.
It's going to be very hard to skirmish against the Dirk Spike, as well as that very tanky Maokai. And especially with the blue buff, Jimmy should be getting a ton of priority over mid. Ahri shouldn't have the wave clear until around level 7, level 8, level 9 to really be able to fight back. And it is a nice CS lead here for Jimmy as well. They're just kind of ticking all the boxes at this point. They have themselves a lot of control in the bot river, and CFO, they are a minute late on their dragon, but it does get started up.
Yeah, it should be okay to find this. Looks like bottom lane at least is saying somewhere in the middle of the lane, as is the middle lane. But of course, with that first blood being picked up, Serrated Dirk on the Jace, he will be a lot stronger if it does come to a skirmish. So Frank realizing this and just giving away the first dragon.
Yeah, not much they can do about this, unfortunately. We'll just be grabbed here. And now, CFO, they should have a pretty clear game plan here. They can just look to play for the Herald next as well, especially given that their top side is spiking already. And Kenny Chan, he's maybe going to look to invade this top side. Knows he wants to trade something, but
we've seen this before.
We have. I feel like I'm reliving the past as... Oh, he's
queued in. This is really, really bad now. Rest has acknowledged this. He's coming down to try find this Vi, who might just be looking for an execute.
Oh, she's going to risk going for the base, and maybe not expecting Jimmy to walk the whole way, but...
Yeah, Jimmy will be able to find him. Doesn't land this slow. Kenny Chan doing his best to get out, but flash available for Gemini. Will be able to use Twisted Advance, lock up Kenny Chan. Another kill going over to Jimmy as Kenny Chan greeds for the Raptors once again.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Kenny Chan is up to. I think maybe he should have skipped one of his top camps to get into that top side earlier, because you have to know the Dragon is getting started up there, but unfortunately gets in to that top side too late and then chooses to queue in. So... not too sure what the decision making was there, and if you are going for these, maybe just need a higher prio, mid laner, because Ari's not going to get prio in a Jace early game. You can set up ganks, but you can't get prio in the 1v1, and I feel like Kenny Chan, he's not playing around that very well.
Oh, and this is pretty dire, because if your Vi's getting this far behind, and she's the one that's trying to ult into someone to start a fight, really, and she might just get blown up before having any impact whatsoever.
Yeah, it can be extremely squishy, especially with the PTA as well. Feels like might just go in and give Shun a free reset. Gemini starting the Herald on the spawn here. And I feel like this should just be going over for free, although Frank Esports bot lane is deploying mid out of base, so they're at least making to contest, but I feel like there's just no chance. Probably should just start running bot. I mean, it's already so low.
Yeah, definitely no opportunity really here. Yeah, we do see now Eminem headed towards that bot lane. Massive wave building up, so actually Shun will be losing a bit of minions as the wave pushes towards Frank, but nothing that big in comparison to being able to pick up that Rift Herald.
Now, fighting the top side. Ooh, the ult comes out from Rest. Had that level advantage. Didn't quite have enough Fury. Maybe because they're going to look for more. The E is down, I believe, for solo kill.
Yeah. Did manage to use that to dodge out the stun, which... definitely was what he needed to do, otherwise possibly does just go down there in that 1v1. Should be safe now, though. Doesn't have teleport available for him, though, so has to be careful of Rest trying to get some poke damage as he slice and dices through minion waves. Nature's Grasp coming out here. Both sums available for both bot laners. Braum's going to tank up that Nature's Grasp. Knocked up here by Chelsea. He's getting low. Flash is going to be used. Nice block on the dodge there by Eminem to make sure Kaiwing gets out okay. But ultimately, it is now Jimmy coming down. Kaiwing 1 HP as Eminem trying to do what he can. Looks like trying to save Kaiwing has led to Eminem's death, and another kill picked up for Jimmy, and he's 3-0.
Jimmy just really using this lead that he got early to take over completely. Has that mid priority, runs down bot, kills Eminem, and he loses so much from this. Lost a couple plates, the Herald's being dropped, lost a wave. And I thought this was going to be a game that was going to be extremely competitive, but so far, CFO, they're just destroying Frank.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, a lot of that has come off the back of Kenny Chan getting caught out twice at the Raptors. It's just led to such a tempo lead here for CFO at every objective, as well as any gang timings.
It is tough. And now, second drag spawning in a minute. It's far from over here, though, for Frank. I mean, they still have win conditions in this game, but having your Vi this far behind is a big problem. Ari's going for the Everfrost build, which I think is kind of a mistake. I think this should be a Leandry's or a Luden's game. Needs to put down more damage than this. There's a replay of Kenny Chan doing the Wolves. Not sure what we're looking at here.
All right.
The Wolves were done. Taken out in short order.
Gonna get blue buff even.
Oh my.
Okay.
Now onto mid lane.
What are we watching? All right, Chelsea's running into the bot lane now. Oh, we went a bit too far back. Here
Oh, here it comes.
The Nature's Grasp.
Yeah, this
Wow.
was a good ulti. It was
definitely.
popped very early. I think Kaiwing actually played this pretty well. Like, he played this basically as well as he could have. Saved the exhaust a long time, got out. I think they just needed a dip here, though. Unfortunately, Jimian was already bot by this time. I think Eminem probably should have just kept walking.
I mean, between the minion wave.
Yeah, it was very nice there. Unfortunately, Eminem, it's very costly when your ADC dies. If the support dies and the ADC lives, it's not too bad, as long as you can pick up those creeps after, but unfortunately, just isn't the case there. Demonic, now completed for Gemini.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be the Triforce here on Israel this game.
Yeah, it should be.
We'll add a bit more damage to the build, especially when it comes up to trying to fire Qs into both Gemini and Rest later on, as well as Chelsea, shall I say.
Oh, and they could be in trouble here. Gemini, he has that ult up, the Nature's Grasp. Isn't going to go for it, though. Jimian needs to reset, so without that mid priority, they decide to slow it down, at least for now. And Jimian, he needs to be a little careful. Kenny Chan is around mid and wisely playing extremely far back.
Stopwatch available, though.
Yeah, I think very smart there by Jimian. Did not have jungler nearby. Didn't know where Kenny Chan was and just stayed under his tower. Managed to not give anything over. And I think you're right with that stopwatch as well. Makes him so hard to take out here in the early game.
I think solo kill could be a point of sort of their strength here for Frank. He is staying even against this Renekton as the Jax, and we saw there, even though Rest is trying to play aggressive, solo kill coming out better in most of these trades now. And it only will get a little bit better for him as soon as he's able to pick up the Divine Sunderer.
Yeah, you're right. Could see that being the way back in for them. Especially if they can get Ari or Vi to gank that lane, start speeding this up. Second Dragon is now live, though. And CFO...
Ooh, Pretender does dodge out of that knock-up, which is very nicely done, but no one there to proc that Braum passive. Nice Glacial Fissure, though, and Gemini getting so low is going to be altered away by Tam, but 1 HP now on this Maokai. It is a potential for Kenny Chan to look towards this Dragon. Jimian as well, if they are able to find them, that's a 300 gold shutdown, which could do a lot for the side of Frank getting back into this game.
Yeah, everyone kind of walks away bloody and bruised from that one. Just not a lot of HP or ults remaining. So it looks like that second drag will be delayed, at least for now. Still though, it's 4,000 gold lead here for CFO. Have to feel good about their position in the game. I think if you're Frank, you probably want to give this dragon up and just wait for Triforce on the Ezreal. I think fighting before that point probably would be a mistake. Maybe play towards what your Jax wants as well.
And I think with Ezreal and how cheap his items are, by the time next dragon's up, you might even have the Mirror Mana as well.
I could see that being the case, and now solo kill. He's doing all right for himself up here in the top lane.
Triforce is purchased now by Israel.
Ooh, okay. So maybe they can fight this. Maybe their setup's a bit too late, but either way, we'll be able to fight the next one, which is very important, obviously. And yeah, with Kenny Chan not on this side of the map, it should just be the dragon going over.
Maybe a fight over Rift Herald could be a possibility, though. That is spawning in 10 seconds here, and Kenny Chan being on that side of the map, as well as bot lane being in the middle.
I think they need to find a pick, though. I don't think they can go for a straight 5v5. They need to either get this Jinx or the Jace. It's a bit harder to get the Jace, so he has this stopwatch.
Yeah, and looking for the Jinx now would be the time. There is still roughly 20 seconds left on Tam ult on that Devour, but Rift Herald now being started up. It looks like it's uncontested for now, but Rest will scout this out, and we'll see what the answer is. Teleport available for Jimian.
He has the TP, but should be sitting on a lot of gold. I think CFO probably should just give this one over. I don't think there's a whole lot that can be done with this Herald anyway. So it is given up, and CFO will use this time just to keep getting themselves some more gold in their lanes. Gemini secures himself that red buff. And I think we're kind of going to enter a little bit of a lull state here. Wouldn't expect a whole lot to happen, at least until this next dragon comes up. That being said, there's still a fair amount of engage from both sides, so if someone does misposition, it could be punished, but there's also a lot of disengage, right? The Time Kench and the Braum, both champs that are kind of built for disengaging, peeling back, making it difficult for the enemy team to speed up the game.
I want to get your thoughts on the Vi Merc treads. Obviously, it is fairly likely that she's going to be snared up by this Maokai, but most of the damage coming through would be AD and auto attacks at that.
Yeah, it's a little strange. I feel like the Merc treads, I can kind of understand it for the Renekton as well, but given that she's got PTA, She probably has tenacity in her runes, so maybe you don't need it anymore. I'm not sure.
We'll have to see if it comes into play. Obviously, as I said, likely to be the target of Twisted Advance from this Maokai, so could be very effective. I believe we're likely to see how effective in about 3 minutes time as Cloud Dragon spawns, but going up top, Solo Kill and Rest going at it. That is going to be Dominus used, doesn't manage to land that Q, so it should be Solo Kill fine to run out just the ult trade.
And Kaiwing, he wants to try and regain this area, but can't quite do it by himself. Now CFO, they're the ones with full control over this mid and bot side, invading the jungle, taking away this ward. On the other side though, Kenny Chan, he's looking for a play on top. Rest needs to play safe. He does not have the ulti. And it looks like he's wisely going to back off in respect. So far though, CFO just kind of playing it slow and steady. Frank is slowly closing this gold gap. But it really will be this third drag that I think we're all looking towards. Eminem, I wonder if he can complete the Muramana before Dragon. Do you think he can get enough gold? 2 more minutes.
Well, at this stage, I think he only needs like 1k.
Yeah.
Maybe not even that. So I think definitely it is a possibility. It depends how much he's got already. But Muramana is one of the cheapest items to complete.
Hopefully he can. Because you really would like to be able to contest this third drag here. I still think it's going to be a difficult fight no matter what. It's so hard, I think, when one of the carries has a stopwatch and the other one has a time kinch. It's just very difficult to be a Vi in this game, especially when you've fallen behind 0-2. Maybe they can use this Rift Herald, though, to help them get the drag. You know, Herald mid or Herald even the other side of the map just to try to give yourselves a bit more control around it. Solo Kill's been doing a good job, and the top side has been pushed up. I think he's getting some turret chunk. Maybe dropping the Herald for him could speed things up.
Yeah, I definitely want to see what amount of gold Eminem's sitting on. But I think that is a crucial part of what could possibly come from this coming team fight.
He is running out of time to base, though.
Yeah, so with that, maybe he can get one more wave. If he can get this next wave and back quickly, might be able to stall long enough to be able to find that. They are going to have teleport advantage too. Rest further away from teleport than Solo Kill is.
Now, I don't think Eminem's going to be able to reset, so I'd be curious to see if Frank try and contest this, because I think without the Muramana...
Okay, he is recalling. I think he'll have it.
Yeah.
I think he'll have it, and he should have enough time.
Maybe.
Because running through jungle, he'll get the Cloud speed boost.
Yeah, he does have it completed. There is a lot of control here for CFO, though. They dropped the Herald to try for something out.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, this should end up being a 5v5. I mean, Shun went for a late reset as well. Completed his Gale Force, I believe it was.
Even then, for it to be a 5v5, I think Rest has to start walking now, because Solo Kill does have teleport, whereas the Renekton does not.
Yeah, maybe he's just going to play to cancel. We'll see. This might not get started instantly from the side of CFO. I think they do probably just want to wait for that TP. And given that they're the ones with the control, it takes a little while for Frank to regain this. Herald is dropped bot, but it does draw Jimmy in down here, which means that control should start going the way of Frank.
Yeah, both top laners walking down now as well, so it will be just a straight 5v5. I think it's important to see if Eminem can land any poke before it does manage to get the Guardian, which can be quite crucial in team fights. Ooh, that could be huge. Actually lands it onto Shun, so Shun loses about a quarter of his health. As Gemini, forced to use the Nature's Grasp early, has gone onto Kaiwing, who's got that shield up, and it's going to be a huge fight breaking out as Pretender goes into the middle, finds one, stopwatches, Rest now healing all of his health back with that Court Drinker, but so far, it's going to be a reset for Shun. There's a lot of low health bars here, and Eminem's doing his best. Q goes to Narnia, and eventually CFO will find the team fight win.
Yeah, I think, can they get more, though? There's 2 on low HP. Jimmy, and he's very strong. I think he can get 1. Or the flash is forced out, but Pretender is taken out. And Frank, I mean, that fight looked really good for them, but unfortunately, you know, Gemini managed to live for so long, which forces Pretender to dive in.
I think Eminem kind of trolled.
Really?
I think he could have kited backwards instead of flashing into the middle of 3. He was looking for Shun.
Yeah,
I understand that, but he could have, I think, just kited back. He was still full HP.
We'll have to see in the replay, but The way this starts out, I think, isn't the best for Frank. I feel like they get chunk on a Shun, which is good, but I feel like ulting the Maokai after he's already dropped ulti is pretty pointless. Even if you get the kill, I really don't think it matters. I think saving it for the Jinx is better. And then Pretender diving in, I think you're right. Probably just kite back with the Ezreal and don't even go for this in the first place, because I think they just kind of dived in, gave recess to Shun, and...
But right here, I think he just kites back and it should be fine.
Yeah, he can probably get out at least. Instead, tries to go for the hero play. I think would have died no matter what. So just went for the 1-for-1 and didn't even get that. But
yeah, it was close though. And honestly, with what the gold lead was, it was closer than you'd perhaps expect.
Yeah,
So
I think definitely.
That is probably good signs. I mean, Pretender, as he gets more items, Gemini dies a bit quicker because Gemini isn't going to be able to opt into tank items. And the Dragon wasn't taken. So, importantly, there is an opportunity again for a fight. And with no sums on Shun, it should make the fight a lot harder for him. Whereas Ezreal does have the safety of that E.
Kenny Chan just used Q, though. It's going to be difficult for him to get to Shun.
Solo Kill is looking for a flank here. Is going to find a lot of damage onto Rest, actually, as Glacial Prism comes out, but it is Pretender going down early. Solo Kill now running, but it's the ult coming onto Shun. There is nothing to save him, and Eminem finds him. The turnaround, though, both Eminem and Kaiwing are found, and it is a disaster. Frank going down, it's Solo Kill now, trying to fight against 4. He's never going to win that, and it's a clean team fight. Only Shun going down for CFO.
CFO, unfortunately, for the side of Frank, are just too strong at this point, I think. Kind of just wallet gapped them, had so much gold, and I hope we do get a replay of that fight. I think the Tahm Kench eat was wasted, and that led to Shun's death, but otherwise, it was just an extremely clean team fight from CFO. They just kind of played it better. They were all grouped up, managed to deny engage on the right people. And we'll kind of see that here. I mean, Solo Kill, he's in a good position to flank, and there is some poke put down. But the problem is it's so hard to go on Shun. I think Kenny Chan, he's using Qs early, which means Shun is just really safe. And you can see here, they're trying to find something. The Charm does connect, but the Vi can't follow up immediately. Tahm Kench was used extremely early, as you can see here. And that's what allowed Kenny Chan to go for it, but there just isn't a whole lot of follow-up, right? It's really Eminem is the only follow-up at that point. He has to dive in, has no way of getting out. So look, he did what he could, but just really wasn't enough. And it feels really weird, right? Because we said in the draft that normally when you pick Vi, you pick lots of follow-up for it. And Ezreal is a champ that tends to kite back instead, but he is constantly being forced, or maybe just, I don't know, mind-controlled into E-ing forward, which I can understand it, right? He wants to follow up his Vi, but it's not really what Ezreal wants to do, and I think their comp is just, it's honestly not that cohesive.
Yeah, I think Ezreal, if you're ahead or even and you can E forward safely, that's pretty much the optimal way to play him. But in these team fights, when you're E-ing into 4 people, it is by no means safe. And he is just getting taken out. And look at the player gold. Eminem the top of his team, but even then he is about 3k behind Shun, 2.5 behind Jimmy. Things are not looking good at the moment for Frank. It is, again, by no means over. Even if they are to lose the soul, it is only the Cloud Soul, which isn't too big of a deal. Obviously, Maokai having that as well as the Renekton is pretty extreme. And Jace can use it anytime it's off cooldown as well. So not optimal, but it's not game-ending.
It's not, no. And kind of coming back to that point where we talked about the lack of AP on the side of CFO, it really just isn't an issue at this point. I mean, there is very little armor that can come through from Frank. They just simply don't have enough gold to move towards those more situational items yet. And Jimmian being 3 items already is really going to put the hurt down.
Kaiwing should be fine to block this.
Oh, TP flank from double TP.
Yeah, 2 TPs coming in behind. Shun is in trouble. Chelsea does have Devour up, and it's a lot used. There's a double stun. Shun's found before he can be devoured, and now it is Kenny Chan getting that stopwatch off of Jimmian. Solo Kill in the middle of 3. He lands 2 stuns. Rest is getting so much shielding from his teammates, though, and he is actually stunned up eventually. It is going to be 3 found for Frank. It will be Baron. What foresight to use both teleports and find that win. The double stun so crucial.
Yeah, extremely nice double TP there from Frank. Very decisive, and they should net themselves a Baron off this. I really hope we see the replay, because I'm 90% sure the Tahm Devour was used, but it was on the wrong target. I think he ate the Maokai. CFO, though, they're going to try and stop this. I don't think they can.
Yeah, that will be Chelsea just going down, and Gemini, if he does stay around, likely to go down as well. Twisted Advance out, and this will be Baron now for Frank, and it is now anyone's game. Oh, Solo Kill.
Yeah,
wasn't in the shop.
He saw it coming. And wow, we've got a game on our hands now. Frank, they're not going to go down without a fight. They find that really good proactive play and now get a hell of a lot more. Have got that Baron gold lead almost completely equalized. Will have to fight this 4th dragon in 2 minutes, but they've really come online. 3 items on the Ezreal now. And I think watch the Tarm Devour. I mean, there's that ward behind that isn't swept out. But I think this Devour not being used on the Jinx, it was just a misclick. You can see here, the only thing you can be thinking about is, okay, how do I save this Jinx? And unfortunately, I believe that Maokai was just stacked on top of him. Eats the Maokai. Oh, no.
As the Maokai was using his root too. Important here, I want to see who gets this shutdown on Jimmy, because that could be really important as well.
I think it was solo kill, but yeah, let's see. Oh, maybe Eminem got it?
Oh, I'm not sure. It's not telling us just yet.
I think Eminem might have got it. Yeah, can't tell though.
I think depending who got that could be really important. If Eminem or solo kill got it, really, that is probably optimal, as solo kill opting to head towards the Zhonyas on Jax. We had saw that in spring quite a lot, and solo kill was a bit of a connoisseur of the build. Now, they also got one thing more important, is they got Jace's stopwatch as well as killed him. So anything going on now, if they do use the Viol on Jace, if he's not going to be devoured, it is going to be a lot easier to kill him.
Very true. And I think with this Baron, they should just be able to keep the waves pushed up enough that they can kind of deny CFO any chance at looking towards this 4th drag. Although Pretender, he's going to have to base top to match Jimmy-In. They don't have any TPs, so maybe Jimmy-In can actually use this to contest that 4th drag. They have a lot of ground that they have to regain, though. And CFO, they are choked out of their jungle. I think they are probably just going to give this dragon over. Just let this Baron expire and try go back to a more even game state.
Yeah, it's crazy to say even game state after how this game had started.
It was pretty crazy, right? I feel like CFO was sort of running rings around Frank for the majority of the game, but one ward that they didn't sweep in mid, and suddenly the game completely flips on its head. Can Frank get anything more done with the Baron? I think maybe the tier 2 mid could be a target. They've got 40 more seconds. But with resets coming through, looks like that will be all. They at least buy themselves a bit of time and quite a lot of gold. Still though, I think it is going to be hard now. Shun has a stopwatch, which means Chelsea can probably ult someone else.
It's going to be hard to deal with solo kill now on a side lane though. He does finish that Zhonya's up.
Yeah, now the armor is starting to come through and it could be more of an issue. Although there is armor pen already for the CFO carries. We'll see. And Baron is about to fade here. Pretender is on top side. It's kind of shadowing solo kill. There are a lot of CFO members here as well, though. Look at those saplings. Ooh, nice block from Kaiwing.
I want to say Kaiwing's usage of that Braum Shield have been extremely good this game. I think they probably look even worse in this game if not for his ability to use that.
It could be, ooh, maybe looking here. Throw out some abilities, but nothing else comes of it. And solo kill should have a very good time in the side lane now. Maokai is actually building a Fiendish Codex, so maybe going towards some more AP, something like a Cosmic. Which I think is a good choice, honestly. Ooh, poke lands on Eminem.
Does have a Vamp Scepter, so if he is able to get onto that wave, should be able to sustain a little bit, but Rest here definitely losing the trades against solo kill quite handedly now, but ultimately Kenny Chan going to be found out. He's going to use stopwatch. Huge fight should break out. Glacial Fisher finds 4 and the charm lands. Now there's a huge stun from solo kill. Finds 3. Lots of shielding coming out from Rest. He's going to find 1. Reset given to Shun. Are they going to find more? And solo kill going in again. They find 1, but he goes down. Low health bars everywhere. Eminem trying what he can, but it's going to go down as well. Now Pretender dives in, doesn't find the damage necessary, but Kaiwing quickscopes Shun on the back.
Yeah, Kaiwing sniped Shun. I'm not sure if Shun had a shutdown or not. That goal going on to Braum wouldn't be the best, and Jimmy-In, such a consistent performer in this game, 9-1-7. I have to say it is a bit of a mid difference, although, to be fair to Pretender, Jimmy-In did kind of get 2 kills off Kenny Chan early. And I really want to take another look back at that fight because I feel like, I'm honestly not sure, like Frank, they're chasing into a difficult position. They start off, good chunk on the Rest in this 1v1. Solo kill was getting the better of him in these trades. So Kenny Chan, he queued pretty aggressively over this wall, but with the stopwatch, he manages to buy himself a lot of time. And it's looking good with the Jax flank, but Shun also has a really easy time just free hitting. You know, once the Jax E is used and the flash also used, there isn't a whole lot of threat left on the Shun, and he is just free hitting the entire fight, which feels like not the best way for Frank to play it. They try go for a re-engage. Shun wisely flashes the jump. Eminem, he almost gets him, but is just constantly eating forward, and every time he does is very hard punished for it.
Yeah, so many attempts on Shun's life, and eventually the Winter's Bite will secure it. But again, a very close call, really. And if things go slightly different, it looks a whole lot better for Frank. So it is important. Shun has now completed his Guardian Angel, as has Jimmy, and so that will make these fights a little bit harder. But again, just a little bit better execution, and these fights go to anyone, really.
Yeah, definitely is an execution game still at this point. Only a slight gold lead for CFO, and gold you have to feel like not super relevant at this point anyway. 2 more stopwatches come through for CFO in their top jungle. There's no stopwatch on Shun though, and he doesn't have flash either, so it could be a fight that's he becomes very vulnerable in. Now full build on the Jace. It's going to be so strong compared to only 3 items on Pretender. Oof, and a lot of poke coming down. Oh, another one.
Oh. Eminem trying to answer back a little bit.
What is the cooldown on this? He's shooting 2 per gate.
Yeah, this is pretty obscene. I guess, yeah. I mean, every single item he has does offer cooldown, so, except GA, I suppose.
Oh, and this is being started up with the chunk landed. I'm not sure if Frank can be here in time to contest. Pretender's going to have to TP.
Chan is, and there is going to be TPs committed from everyone, so Baron actually really, really low, and it is going to be Frank inside the pit, but the fight going to happen first. Glacial Fissure already committed. Solo kill does go in, as well as that cease and desist. It's Jimmy and extremely low in the background. Kenny Chan getting low. GA popped. It is rest in his stopwatch, but the team fight going the way of Frank. 3 kills found. Shun finds 1, gets the reset, but what can he do? Jimmy trying to find any damage he can. 1 reset could mean everything, but it's gonna be his Guardian Angel popped. Jimmy goes down. Shun gonna go down. It's an ace. Only solo kill going down, and Frank looked to try end.
I think they might be able to. They're going towards bot lane. Still 20 more seconds on Gemini, but maybe it's too late. Instead, gonna turn around and go back towards Baron and Dragon. And this game just keeps going. I think Jimmy in there might have misplayed that fight pretty heavily. Was kind of caught out very far up, very early on into the fight, and the eat was used onto him, you know, from the Tahm Kench. And after that, things fell apart very, very quickly for the side of CFO. And now, Frank, they're going to find themselves in the driver's seat.
Yeah, they have to get a recall in to be able to contest this Dragon, though. 15 seconds on the carries of CFO.
So this has started up very early by CFO, and I'm not sure how good it is. Shun takes a fair amount of damage tanking it. You know, starts the fight in a, say, 70% HP Jings. And I'm not sure what happened to Jimmy in here. Somehow he ended up, you know, very deep into this fight. Yeah, it's just kind of frontlining at this point.
Oh, Everfrost hits.
Yeah, I feel like he was positioned way too far up. Just has so much CDR, he can keep poking. And after that, I mean, the CFO frontline falls apart a lot quicker than the sides of Franks. And with their carries starting the fight on lower HP, it's not long until they're cleaned up afterwards. There was a lot of damage put out by Jimmy, to be fair to him, but maybe not the best start to the fight to CFO, and they really got punished for it.
Yeah, Shun going down. Come back to live. I wonder if they have been able to secure that Dragon. Kaiwing looks pretty happy with himself.
He is. Now, can they look to end the game with this Baron? They got 2 more minutes, and this Ezreal is very, very strong now.
Yeah, Guardian Angels are down across the board as well, so another important cooldown that we'll be missing, but Pretender getting absolutely rocked here by Jace Qs.
I wonder how much damage Jimmy has dealt. I mean, now that he can Q twice for every gate, he can just really put in the pain. And actually forcing Pretender to base is a pretty big deal, because now they have to try pressure with only 4 members here. Pretender used TP at the Baron before, so can't get here in time. And
look at Jimmy.
That looks fun. Now, both solo laners from Frank reset. So couldn't do anything to break the base. Maybe they can get this tier 2 tower top, but I don't think they can get any more inhibs here.
Definitely does look hard. They can look to maybe try and sort out a fight. Obviously, Devour being up makes that a lot harder. Kaiwing standing up front, putting up that shield. Nice bit of poke there. Gets out that resource from Shao Si.
And I think if you're CFO, you just let this tower drop. Only 45 more seconds on the Baron. It's really, can Frank break the base?
lolclips looks to be almost getting his minion wave there to try and look for this inhib mid. But Kaiwing quite low now, so we'll be a little bit more scared to just stand up front with his shield.
Yeah, so it looks like at least for now, the base will hold. Whether or not that actually matters, though, it's hard to say. I mean, obviously would be nice if you could get some inhibs with it, but at this point, whoever wins a team fight probably just wins the game straight afterwards. Death timers are long enough by this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
3 minutes on this next dragon, which you could definitely see being the kind of deciding fight at this point. I feel like the soul isn't even a huge factor anymore, but just the fact that it's almost a guaranteed fight and both teams are going to want to be there kind of means it's probably going to be the finisher. Although Baron spawns 10 seconds after, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that 4-4.
Now, Guardian Angels are almost back up, and I think having those up will definitely favor the side of CFO, as there is only really Kenny Chan's Guardian Angel to answer the 2 carries of CFO.
Shun, he can probably complete his last item. I wonder if he's going towards the BT. Could be nice to have some lifesteal up against the Ezreal, though not that much poke has been hit. He more got poked from the Baron in that last big engagement. Now, want to regain control of their topside jungle ahead of these objectives. I think it might even, if you're CFO, I think you just give the drag and play towards the Baron. You're not worried about Frank picking up the 3rd drag. And if you can get a Baron, especially with how strong the Jace is, could maybe play for an end, take some inhibs.
Right,
Lots of members bot.
Oh, yeah, they're looking for this bottom inhib turret, and they are successful. So I think with that, they should be able to likely look for this inhib. Although fight coming out, Kaiwing getting caught is going to actually commit that glacial. Ooh, Nature's Grasp landing onto Kenny Chan. Nothing really more to come. They are able to pick up the 1 tower, but that's it for now. Bunch of cooldowns expended, which should be up by the time Dragon respawns. But I was going to say, peak Ari items.
Yeah, she's got a Magi's, but I'm not a fan of the build, I have to say. Not a lot of damage.
What about if that gets to 25?
Look, I like the Magi's. That's the only part I like.
Yeah, not the Shadow Flame?
Well, the Shadow Flame was bought 3rd, you know?
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, true, it was.
Not a fan. I'll have to have a word to Pretender after. But now, just a minute on these objectives. Currently, though, Frank are the ones with all the control. They have control over both sides of the jungle and are on the map very early. CFO, they're going to have to try walk out through mid probably to regain this. Both GAs, 3 GAs actually up for the side of CFO. Even a QSS on the Tahm Kench.
Yeah, a lot of utility and items now coming through for CFO. There are 2 Zhonyas as well as a GA and a QSS for the side of Frank as well, though.
Yeah, there are just a lot of tools available. 20 seconds now on this Baron. I think CFO should, again, set their eyes on that Baron. And Frank probably can too. If you're CFO, maybe send 1 member to solo drag. Although instead, they're going to have to commit members topside to push solo kill away. Side lane definitely goes in the Jax's favor at this point, especially with how much armor he has. And I feel like CFO, while they might be able to win a straight up 5v5, they're going to have a pretty hard time regaining this control. And Frank, they're very good at playing from ahead. They should know how to play this out.
Jimmy was able to chunk Eminem a little bit, but with his items, should be fine with that Ravenous Hydra to sustain up here off of Baron.
Ooh, now CFO, they want to regain control. Double flank from Pretender, although he goes around. Solo kill has the other side. Jimmy and should need to make sure to avoid this engage. They're doing a good job. Yeah, very nice job. They find both the flankers early, which is very important. Pretender gets chased out on the side. I really like how CFO are playing this. They're not giving the opportunity for those 2 flankers to get set up.
Every single item and every single summoner is available for this fight, so it really does come down to execution.
Ooh, Jimmy's going to solo the drag. I think he'll be able to get it. CFO just need to kind of show presence here. Okay, they've seen him now. They should start up the Baron, and Jimmy's going to need to do this and quickly TP.
Yeah, how quickly can he get there, though? It is going to be tried to snipe away. Imagine if he got that. Okay, solo kill on the side, dealing with 4 members at the moment.
Jimmy did not
3k health is left here, so it's going so low. Looks like it will be picked up now. from Frank, and what comes now? Pretender extremely low, twisted advance onto him, and Jimmy's there. This should be Pretender going down, although flash away. It's now Kenny Chan the focus. He's low as well as Resh dives into the pit. Recalls are trying to come through here as CFO looks to stop them. Pretender dodges out of that zap, but it's going to be a reset for Shun. Can he find more? They are continuing forward. It looks like it will just be the one pick, as well as that Dragon Salt found from CFO. Look how fast Jimmy's running around the map.
Jimmy with that Cloud Soul was just sprinting around the rift. But ultimately, it is the Baron that goes the way of Frank. So despite being a member down, I think should be able to, keep their base in a fine condition. TP is coming through though, and they have to try hold until Pretender's up. They do have decent wave clear with the Ezreal.
Have to be careful though, there is a minion wave building bot lane. And with double TP available, there could be a base race which almost favors Frank.
Oh, TP's coming in, so CFO, they want to force the issue.
Yeah, they're trying to look. Pretender's still not up for 15 more seconds as the aim of the game is just survive. Kite away, kill the minions. They land a nice Winter's Bite there onto Rest, but he's okay to run away. And now can they stop any of these recalls? There is an option to try and look for their own inner bot here with the teleports available. Pretender will be able to use it as soon as he spawns.
Yeah, they're trying to chase Pretender. Does he have a TP flank? It doesn't look like he does.
Yeah, will be a disengage from. So Inhib picked up top here. Man, what a game.
Yeah, this is insane.
There's still a minute left on this Baron here for Frank, a minute 20, and 4 minutes until the Elder Dragon will spawn. So those are the key timers here. Frank are headed into the enemy side of the map to try and get some pushing done. Maybe look for that Inhib, look for some Inhib towers.
Yeah, 1 minute left on this Baron. I'm not sure they're going to get a whole lot done with it, though. I think this is going to come down to the Elder.
We go again.
We do. Now, Ari picks up the Void Staff, is working on the Rabadons now, looks like. Imperial Mandate was that purchase from the Maokai.
Oh, a wedge shot, yeah. So got a bit of AP, got a bit of extra damage there for the boys. Now has his own stopwatch as well, so that will eventually be a Zonya's, but the immediate power, knowing how any fight can be the last.
Yeah, I really don't think there's much to say for the next 3 minutes. I mean, should just be farming, kind of waiting, buying elixirs, buying any other items that you can get to try and swing this Elder Dragon fight in your favor.
Okay, Eminem sold boots in favor of the Frozen Heart, so even he is now a lot harder for CFO to take down.
Wow, and I think, can Ari complete the Rabadons? I think that's the only relevant item really remaining. Everyone else is basically full build. I think Jimmy's been full build for about half the game.
Yeah, he's been full build for a long time. Definitely seems like he values the cooldown reduction, doesn't want to sell those boots.
I think he probably should. I'm not sure what the best buy would be, but
I think you could
yeah,
even, he sold them now. You could look for a more, even though there isn't that much AP damage, it does, give you that, what is it, the lifesteal after you proc it. But it is going to eventually be not that, getting a bit more lethality into his build.
Yeah, I think the Edge of Night Shield as well does make it a little more difficult for the Vi to ult him if it's not poked out by Israel first.
I do feel like Israel has a fairly okay chance at getting that, as well as Ari, honestly.
Yeah.
Either of them are two of the better champs at proccing these item shields.
2 more minutes now on this Zelda. I feel like everything is kind of building up to this. I really want to see Ari's gold. I'm not sure if Pretender can get the Rabadons. He's basing now. Let's see if he has it. Because if he does, it's a very big spike. I mean, he has a lot of AP items already.
Solo has to be careful here. Has the Wherewithal for now, but Nature's Grasp could be available. Oh, this could be really, really dangerous. If they find Solo Kill here, he's likely to go down.
Even if he does, though, I mean, Elder's still not up. And it looks like Ari did not complete the Rabadon, so will not have it for the Elder fight. There's only a minute and a half away, and both teams just absolutely melt objectives at this point. So whoever can start it up will force the other team to contest it just a few seconds after. Solo Kill, maybe, or Rest, excuse me, maybe getting looked at, but he's very tanky, has a GA as well. And not often do you see a Renekton getting 400 CS. But it's been one of those games, everyone's got a lot. 474 as the most here on Shun. He's going to break 500 this game, I think.
Yeah, well, 1 minute until Dragon, so maybe not. I guess it depends how that fight goes, really. Giving the gold away as well, so his Renekton can try and get that last item built up.
I wonder if Ari can go for another reset. She has the TP. I'm not sure she can farm the Rabadons, though. It's so much gold to get, especially when your inventory is just full and you can't fit any more components.
I mean, from here, she needs like 2,400, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I think it's 2350.
Yeah.
Now 25 seconds remain. Frank are the ones with the control. Definitely bodes well for them. It's quite difficult for CFO to regain. Rest does complete his Gargoyle.
Okay, so Steric shield, Gargoyle shield. There's a lot of shielding that will be done onto this Renekton in the next fight.
Ooh.
Isn't able to land ultimate there, but...
Rest, he's maybe looking for something.
Rest getting a bit aggressive. Winter's Bite does land, but no stun to follow it in. Pretender now is early having to use this stopwatch. Is going to just be called out. That's an early reset now for Shun, and it's damage control. Can Frank get away? There's a lot of follow-up. Gemini finds two. Eminem's doing every bit of damage he can from over the wall as Jimian is going to be exhausted. Kenny Chan not long for this world. He will be going down after this GA. It's going to be Elder Dragon, but can it be more?
I think it should be Elder, Baron, and then probably the game. In fact, they might not even need Baron if they just want to run straight to top, but Baron probably would make it a little safer. And that's a very weird way for this game to end, if I'm honest, with Pretender just kind of walking up and getting Maokai W'd. Really unexpected. Looks like they're not going to look towards the Baron at all. Instead, just going to run it down bot lane. And I wonder, does Eminem have time to look at the Baron? I mean, they're recalling instead, so won't be going for that. No, they need to defend. And CFO, I think they can just end, right?
Yeah.
Like, still 34 on the Vi. Pretender might not even be up until his Nexus is already being knocked on here.
It's going to take a massive mistake. I guess Ezreal has quite a bit of wave clear, so maybe can get rid of the minions before losing too much of the base. Pretender up in 2 seconds, so will be available. That is the minion wave cleared out. But look how much damage is getting done to Kaiwing and Eminem.
Yeah, I think on this next wave, really going to be looking at those towers. Health bars are low from Frank. They can't hold this much longer.
True Shot Barrage almost up. It is the Glacial used first, but look at how much damage. Kaiwing just goes down. It's now Jimian coming in. Eminem 1 HP. Kenny Chan trying to keep him alive, but Gemini will eventually find him. It's now going to be 3v5. Elder Dragon in pocket. CFO are going to take the game, but not without a fight.
Whoa, 48 minutes. I mean, that was an insane game. I think the way it ended was a little sad, to be honest, but I think the fact that Frank managed to fight in that game for so long, because in the early game, honestly, CFO were annihilating them, but they had that colossal throw on the mid wave where that double TP came out from the side of Frank, and unfortunately the Devour from Tom Kench used on the wrong target, allowed the side of Frank back into the game. And I think you'd have to say for a lot of that game after that, Frank was actually, they were the ones in control. And, I think even at the Elder, like they had the setup, and unfortunately Pretender, he just walked up a bit too far.
Yeah, that was kind of an uncharacteristic mistake, I have to say. It was kind of weird. He didn't use ult, he didn't use flash, he just got W'd and died. And that was really all she wrote for the rest of the game. But I want to say one thing that looked like a real good improvement from Frank is that from yesterday, there was that one play against PSG where solo kill teleported in too late, or the fight started too early, or whatever was wrong with the comms there. And in this game, we saw the double TP, which is kind of exactly what happened yesterday, but executed correctly, and it allowed them back into the game with a real chance.
It did, yeah. Very